Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Gavin. Hey, I just wrapped up breakfast here after a early morning duck hunt, but I wanted to take a little bit of time maybe to answer some questions for some of you guys that have asked, why the hell you decide you want to run a marathon now? What's been so inspirational there? Why do you decide to do it? As well as go into a little bit about my conditioning, what I'm going to be doing going forward, my diet as well. So first and foremost, the reason I wanted to do it, I think some of you probably read, running for me has in 2019 and all previous years has been a huge challenge. One, because I didn't work on it. The short bursts of energy, speed, sprinting, pretty good at that. I'm pretty quick, but long distance stuff from an endurance standpoint, I wasn't very good. And so it's something that I said, I always look into the new year and I say, hey, what can I really challenge myself with to push myself, to that next level, or what can I do in my mind that almost seems impossible and make it possible, if that makes any sense. So one of those things was running, right? And so when I think about physical fitness, so this thing comes into twofold for me. One, I'm at 23% body fat when I started, 196 pounds, and that's for me is pretty heavy. I say pretty heavy. I got a good bit of muscle mass, and so I think that comes out to right at 45 pounds of body fat that I have on me. And so I need to shed about roughly 30 pounds of that if I can and maintain as much muscle as possible. So my ideal goal is to get to about 8 to 10% body fat through this process. And so what the marathon training is going to do for me is it's going to help me tone up. It's going to get me more active. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff. Marathon training mixed in with strength training. Two, it's going to give me a huge challenge. And so for me, mentally, it's going to be something that I know I'm going to have to push through in order to be successful. It's not something that I can just run into and be like, oh, I'm going to go do this thing, right? And so it's something that I'm going to have to push myself. My goal is to run an 8-minute mile pace throughout the marathon. And so exactly when I'm going to do this marathon, I'm not sure. I do have one on April 26th. We've got one, me and my buddy Joe Landry down in Houston have got one that we're going to run. I'm probably going to do a half marathon there and really just test the waters and see where I'm at from an 8-minute mile standpoint and really push myself to do that. And so yesterday my training was, I just had a short day, 2 miles for time. And so I felt really good. I ran that in 15:30, so that's a 7:45 pace. I think I could have kept that for another mile. But it felt really good to push myself at around half a mile. I was like, man, shoot, should I stop and should I take a walk here? And then, in my mind, I was like, no, dude, I can't do that, man. I got to keep rolling. I got to keep pushing through this. It's only 2 miles. So, and then once I set into a good pace, it was fairly easy. And so, from a mental standpoint, I think this is going to be really beneficial for me going forward. And what we're going to do, not only in work, fitness, family life, but also in business, right? And so there's a lot of challenges that come up in life. Number one, my full-time job in medical sales, and then also with my wife's clothing boutique and our business and some of the things that we want to do on the side. There's a lot of things that come up and challenges that come up that you got to be mentally tough for. So that's one of the things I like to do is really push myself. So one of the other things I'm going to be doing with this from a recovery standpoint, because I'm putting in a lot of volume compared to what I've done in the past. From a running standpoint, I'm going to have to recovery is going to be huge for me. So I have a Hypervolt that I'll be using. I'll be stretching. I'll be doing your normal stuff, rolling out on a roller, this, that, and the other. But I'm also going to be making a chest freezer ice bath from a mentality standpoint for twofold. One, recovery, and then two, immunity benefits and dunking in a cold water immersion and first thing in the mornings. From a mentality standpoint, it's just one of them things. I think you can jump in there, get in for 3 minutes, boost your immune system, and then set yourself up mentally to be successful throughout the day. So quickly, we'll jump into to what I'm going to be doing from a training standpoint. And so as you can see here, I'll try to hold this up first. So if you can see this, so let me figure out how I can do this. So if you look at this paper here, and I'll see if I can take a picture and maybe put it up on the thing, on the screen or whatever. But if you look at this, basically my body fat, I'll just read through it. It's going to be hard to see. So my body weight was, as I said, 196 pounds when I started this, in a body fat percent of about 23%. So it's about 45 pounds of body fat that I have on my body, and it's not good. I mean, it's around my abdomen, bad stuff. So I still have abs, you can still see them, but for me, it's not that's not good. I don't like that. It's not to my standards that I live to, and in 2019, I just kind of just let myself go, for lack of a better word, just being lazy. I worked out, but diet wasn't always on par, wasn't always dialed in. I had spurts where it was and spurts where it wasn't. So my goal is to get to 6, 8, 10-ish body fat. 6% body fat would be 10.2 to 10.8 pounds, depending upon my body weight. If I got to 170, 180 pounds, so give or take, I'd be happy below 10, to be honest with you. And so I'd be really lean. I'd look from an aesthetic standpoint, if you will. All my muscles are going to pop. I'm going to look really good this summer. And so just kind of some numbers here, if you will. And so, they say 3,500, it takes 3,500 calories is 1 pound, right? And so if they do 500 pounds a day, theoretically you lose 1 pound a week. And so for me, my goal is to maintain as much muscle mass while going through this. And so that's why my training is the way it is structured. So I consume roughly 1.2 times my body weight in protein. So that comes out to about 44% and 237.8 grams a day, give or take. And so my total calorie consumption in the day is going to be 2162. I've been doing that now this will be the 4th day, and I feel great. My recovery is great. Energy's through the roof. I feel amazing. And so on kind of my double up days, if you will, I'm going to be doing, so if you look at this big calendar here, some days I'll be doing higher carb days. Some days I'll be doing lower carb days, and those may actually change as I go. And so I'll vary those. I've played with my carbs a lot in the past, and so I don't typically require a lot of carbs to feel amazing. I do really well at somewhere between 18-20% total daily caloric intake in carbs, and so I could probably get around there. But as you see here, on the higher carb days, I'm going to be at 35% carbs, and 21% of my daily intake is going to be fats. On the lower carb days, so the lower stress days, maybe, if you will, I'm going to bump carbs down to 26% and raise fats to 30%. And so I'll play with those as I go with training. As things intensify, running gets longer, more intense, I may have to adjust those a little bit more and account for some other things in there. But for now, that's where I'm starting at. I feel great, so I'm going to keep going with it. So if you look from a training schedule standpoint, I'll try to maybe put a calendar or something on the screen. But if you see from a training standpoint, I started on the 1st. So on the 1st, I was 196 pounds, if you can see that. And so it was, for me, I quoted it kind of as a medium run day, right? And so that was 4 miles, and that was pretty tough for me. I walked 3/4 of a mile throughout that, kind of spread out. It took me 41 minutes and 3 seconds to complete that. And so day 2 was Thursday. The 2nd, I lost a little bit of weight, probably some water weight. I'm drinking 3/4 to a gallon a day, but I'm down to 192.1. I just had some conditioning plus strength. And so on that day, I think it was like I did 2/4 mile sprints at a 6-minute mile pace, coupled with a bike. And so just trying to flush my legs. And then I also had strength that day. I had a pull day and triceps. And then yesterday, Friday, my body weight was relatively the same as it was Thursday. I was 192.2, as well as today. And that's a short run day, so I did 2 miles. I wanted to see how hard I could push myself, and so I went 15 minutes and 32 seconds. So that's roughly 7 minutes and 46 seconds per mile. I think that's right. And so that's 2 miles. I think I could have held that for another mile. I settled into a really good pace. It felt really good. And then today is I have a no run day. And so my strength for today is going to be shoulders, and I'll hit arms again. And so today is going to be a lower carb day. So when we look across the board, I'll just start on Sundays. And so you'll see on Sunday, this Sunday I have a 7-mile run. So that's a really long run for me. And so I don't think I've ever run 7 miles in my life. So that's going to be pretty long. I'm sure there'll be some mixed in walking in there as well. So Sundays will be a long day. Mondays will be a short day / interval day. So on Sunday it'll be a higher. On Sunday it'll be a higher carb day. No strength involved. No strength work involved there. But it will be a long run day. Mondays I'm gonna have short days plus interval work or interval work. So maybe some sprints. So where I'll sprint a quarter mile, 3 miles of sprint. Or 2 or 3 miles of sprints. I'll sprint a quarter mile. As hard as I can go. I'll rest 3 to 4 minutes, and then I'll do it again for a total of 2 to 3 miles or whatever I decide. And then I have legs on Monday, and Monday will be a higher carb day for me. And so on Tuesdays, I have a complete rest day. It's a low carb day. I don't have anything from a strength standpoint or a running standpoint, so it's a really good rest and recovery day for me. On Wednesday, it's as I said, it's the medium run day. Plus strength of pushes and pull and biceps. So, your typical chest stuff, try to maintain them, push a lot of heavy weights and do a lot of slow eccentrics to try and maintain what I've built with muscle wise. It's a higher carb day. Thursdays are conditioning plus strength and pull and triceps, and a lower carb day. Fridays, I've kind of already went over this, short run / interval work, again, a lower carb day. And then Saturdays are no running, but I do have strength work of shoulders and arms, and those are a lower carb day. So that's kind of a quick breakdown of what I'm going to be doing going into this marathon training. And so that will probably change as I get better into this. It'll probably, the miles will go up. The calories may stay about the same, give or take. I may have to decrease them a little bit or something. I don't know. I'll play with the diet. I'll just kind of get it dialed in for myself. One of the things I preach is nutrition is, of course, an individualized process. And so everybody's going to metabolize things differently. Everybody's going to react differently to certain food groups, whether it's carbs, fats, protein, this, that, and the other. And so for me, I know it works well for me. Nutrition is one of the things you got to play with. You got to get dialed in. And so anyways, if I have any questions, give me a shout, shoot me a message, whatever. I appreciate you jumping in and watching me and holding me accountable. Keep me to the bullet. This is my goal, to run a full marathon in 2020 at an 8-minute mile pace. So y'all hold me accountable. Come along with the ride with me, and thank you. I appreciate the support.